morning. Welcome back. It is 7:17. You're watching BT Vancouver. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning. Well, Premier John Horgan says an early election is needed because BC is facing significant health and economic challenges with an unstable minority government. And joining us now with more reaction this morning is Richard Johnston, a political scientist at UBC. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning.
So you have been critical of Horgan, calling a snap election, saying it is unwise right now. Why do you say that?
Well, I think actually in terms of being unwise, a lot of that has to do with his own situation. The polls suggest that he's 15 to 20 points ahead, but the record of snap elections suggests that that lead is not likely to hold, at least certainly not to remain that wide. So one thing is that there's a political risk to him. He may not find this as comfortable a passage as he thought it might be. In terms of management of the virus, it does mean that the attention of the government is distracted from a task which it has claimed in the past, at least, requires its full attention.
Okay, so having said that, we know Horgan's approval rating is strong right now. Do you think, this is going to work in his favor, or do you think this could backfire?
Both things could be true. The lead is wide enough that he has plenty that he can waste. And so it's not a terrible bet by him that he'll turn this into an outright majority. But it will taint the government's when it casts a kind of different shadow over the government. The government now seems a cynical and manipulative operation, where before it was this kind of responsible partner, one of the kind of signature responses to COVID in all of North America.
So what is your personal opinion? What do you think is going to happen?
Odds are he'll get away with it. He does have a big lead. The Liberals have disappeared off the map. Now, a lot of that has to do with the coronavirus. They will be visible again because it is an election campaign after all. But they haven't had a chance to articulate their program. They will struggle to come up with a substantive reason as to why they and not the NDP should be the government. The Greens, meanwhile, are vulnerable, and I suspect that vulnerability is a factor in the Premier's calculations. And so I think he probably will get his majority. It won't be a smashing one, and there will be a bad taste left after it.
Mm-hmm. So let's say he gets away with it. Are you concerned at all about low voter turnout? I know we saw some positive trends in New Brunswick, but COVID cases are much lower there, and it's a much smaller province, so it's kind of hard to compare.
It is, but it is promising. So it was a 66% turnout in New Brunswick. In terms of the kind of mechanics of the elections BC at least shouldn't really have any problem dealing with it. The materials that they normally have in place for elections are already there. They're just going to shift the emphasis toward the mail. There will be more advance poll opportunities. That's already been made clear. The question is, what kind of campaign can the parties mount? They can't do the door-to-door stuff. Probably they can't even drop off leaflets through the door. That did not happen in New Brunswick. So what we're going to see is a campaign that is pretty much wholly virtual. We don't really know how that works out. But what we do know is that in elections, the face-to-face parts of elections are important in the mobilization of the vote. So we won't have those things this time. And it really remains to be seen whether the digital campaign has the same mobilizing effect.
All right. Well, we'll be watching closely. It will be an interesting next few weeks. Richard Johnston, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
7:22 now on BT Vancouver. We're going to take a break. We'll have